me ask you something, darling. What cookie makes you rich? I know. It's a fortune cookie. What did the gingerbread man put on his bed? He put a cookie sheet on his bed. Get it? He was gingerbread, so he put on a cookie sheet. Darling. Why did the cookie cry? Why did the cookie cry? Because its mother was away for too long. Get it? The mother was away for too long. What is today's show about, dearies, you may ask? Today's show is all about cookies!
If you're stuck inside and you need some fun, she's the grande dame of getting it done. With Victoria Sautee.
Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome back to the Glittery Bunker in today's sweet show all about cookies. There they are. Look at that tray of cookies. I wish they were right in front of me right now, but they're here on the screen for us all to enjoy, aren't they, loves? Well, you know, a cookie is a cooked, small, flat sweet. A small, flat sweet that you eat. Yes, that's right. We eat cookies. A cookie contains flour and sugar and some kind of a fat. It could be butter, it could be oil, it could be lard, it could be whatever, but a little bit of fat makes that flour and sugar into a cookie. Now, you know, darlings, here in this country, we call them, these little guys, and there they are, those little guys, we call them cookies, but everywhere else in the world calls them biscuits. Biscuits. No, they're not biscuits, friends who are watching us from around the globe. They're cookies. They're cookies is what they are. That's right. Now, you know, the origins of the cookie are very interesting. They were first seen in Persia in the 7th century, shortly after the Persians received the gift of sugar in their lives. And by the 14th century, cookies were common just about everywhere in Europe. That's right. People in France would say, oh, look, there's that cookie. People in Italy would be like, mamma mia, that's a cookie. Everywhere. And the word cookie itself, let's have that. There it, oh, look at it. I'm cookies. The word cookie itself actually comes from the Scottish people in the 1700s. Now, let me get this out of it. I feel like a little orphan cookie. Now, the word in the Scots, their word for cookie, it meant this. It was a plain bun. That's right. In Scotland, this was a cookie. But we know better than the Scots. This is a cookie, darling. Isn't that right? And the word itself, the word cookie, derived from the Dutch. And this is their word for cookie. It's right. Oh, look, there it is. Do you see it? It's koekja. Koekja. I suppose there's other pronunciations, but I like that one. Koekja. What did you do to the cookie? I cooked ya. There's many kinds of cookies there are. There's well, let's look at some of them, shall we? There's the bar cookie. That's sort of like you put it in a pan. A brownie is actually an example of a bar cookie. There's drop cookies where you just take a spoonful of the dough and you drop it, you just plop it out there. To me, it looks like those ones are going to be chocolate chips. Don't you think that? There's also the filled cookie. We love to enjoy those around the holidays. A good filled cookie, and of course there's the sandwich cookie. Imagine a sandwich. When I picture a sandwich cookie, darling, I think of 2 slices of cookie with some meat in the middle. But no, there it is. There. Oh, don't forget the icebox cookie. Oh, there it is. Yes, the icebox cookie is a dough that you leave in the fridge, love, and you just sort of slice it and bake it off. That's right. And what else do we have? Oh, yes, there's the pressed cookie. The pressed cookie. Look at that hand pressing that cookie through that. It looks sort of like a weapon, right? Imagine a pressed cookie gun. And of course, we can't forget, we must always remember and pay tribute to the chocolate chip cookie, which we sometimes call a Toll House cookie. Now, do you know why we call them a Toll House cookie? But maybe you don't call them that, honestly. I don't call them Toll House cookies, but I know I've seen that expression before. And to thank for that, we have Ruth Graves Wakefield. There she is. Look at her there. Doesn't she look like a regular girl? She does to me. Now, Ruthie, she's from Massachusetts, and she studied homemaking at Framingham State College. She did, and her and her husband, after college, that is, they purchased a little house. In this little house, they turned into the Toll House. There, what the big house, isn't it? Well, there it is. You see the Toll House there, well, that's it. They purchased that house. Now, the house has a rich history. It does. The house was actually in the times when men rode horses in the Boston area. The men would stop the horses. They'd have a little drink of water, or maybe the men would have a little bite to eat in there. It really wasn't a toll house the way we think of a toll house. No one had to pay anything, but she called it the Toll House Inn. There it is. And the Toll House Inn was a restaurant. That's right. People would stop in there and eat. And Ruthie was very famous for her dessert. And what did she make for dessert? She made a cookie. She made a butterscotch cookie, and everyone would travel all around Boston just to eat one of her little butterscotch cookies. But one day, while out of butterscotch, she had a Nestle's chocolate bar back there in the kitchen. And she thought, what if I just chop up this little bar and stick it in the cookie? Now, some people think that she thought that it was going to turn a cookie into a chocolate cookie. No, love, she was much smarter than that. She knew that the chocolate would break up into little areas, little chips, as we say. And she actually named the cookie the Toll House Chocolate Crunch Cookie. How about that? Well, it caught on. It was very popular, and even the people from Nestle heard about it, and they bought the rights to the cookie. And they placed the recipe, here it is, they placed the recipe on the backs of their little packages of the chips. And they gave Ruth all the chips she could possibly want from now until the end of time, or however long she was around. That's right. There's the Toll House chocolate chip cookie. Now, if you want to find out all of Ruth's recipes, she made the Toll House cookbook, which you can still pick up on Amazon. That's right, darling. Isn't that lovely? That's right. Let's see who's in the room today. I'll see Emma's in the room, and Shelley called me a smart cookie. Oh, Shelley, you're a smart cookie. You are. There you are. Emma's very, Emma, this is Emma on Roblox. She's very excited about cookies, and John says, look, cookies, my Achilles heel for my keto regimen. Who else is here? Oh, then Michael's here. It's Victoria Sautee's song, so comforting to anyone else. Well, Michael, it is to me. To me, I sing myself to sleep with that jingle most nights. I do. Who else is in the room today? Oh, Diana, yummy cookies. We have them for you. And other Emma, plus I'm ready to get my cooking on. I'll bet you are. Let's get back to learning stuff about. I'm so glad you're all here today, darlings. Let's see, what else can we learn about Oh, we can't talk about cookies without talking about Nabisco. You can barely see that logo there, but that's Nabisco. Now, Nabisco, that's the logo. Nabisco is actually the National Biscuit. The National Biscuit Company. Do you see how the letters work there? N-A for national, B-I-S for biscuit, and C-O for company. That's right. Now, here it is. Here's their plant in Chicago, Illinois. That's right. The factory is almost 2 million square feet of space. That's a lot of factory, I'll tell you. And it is actually the largest bakery in the entire world, darling. That's right. Now, they not only produce cookies inside that building, but they do some crackers in there. They do. In Canada, they don't call it Nabisco. They call it Christie. You see it? You see the Christie logo in my bright hair there? And you're actually going to notice that something interesting about the Nabisco logo. Do you see? There's like a little circle around the word Nabisco, and then like I don't know, looks like an alien antenna. Well, that is actually the ball and orb, the Orb and Cross. Sorry, the Orb and Cross. You see that there, which is from the medieval times. It sort of tells you that, oh, this is very royal, very official, and that's why we have that little ball and cross right around Nabisco. You'll also find that little shape right around the Oreo. Do you see it in there? I see you hiding in the center of every Oreo. Now, the company began when the smaller companies all merged together to form this one big biscuit making company. And among their most famous cookies that they produced when they started out was the Fig Newton. Yes, of course, the Fig Newton. And then animal crackers. Yes, I love animal crackers. I don't know, are they a cookie? Are they a cracker? They're a weird hybrid. They're weird, they are. And I think they've taken the jail bars off of the little animals there, because animals should be free. They shouldn't be locked in a box, darling. No, they should be free to roam and be eaten. Of course, we know Nabisco created the Oreo, and also one of my favorite Nabisco treats is the Lorna Doone. The Lorna Doone. It's a shortbread cookie. It is, and it came about in 1912, and it is named after the very famous 1869 novel Lorna Doone, that's right. I don't know a lot about Lorna Doone, but I believe she was a princess or a queen, but she didn't know that she was. She'd grown up not knowing her royal lineage, and she traveled around with some thieves and gypsies and tramps, and she never knew who she was. But if you don't want to take the time to read the book, and I probably won't, darling, I probably won't. You might want to see the movie. There's 5 different versions of it for you to watch, or if you're into comic books, you could read the comic book version of Lorna Doone. I think that's the one that I take a fancy to the most. Too. No one knows, darlings, why the cookie is named after this girl. I think that's quite funny. Now, some of Nabisco's other famous cookies include the Cameo, which I have never had the pleasure of eating, the Nutter Butter, which I'm afraid I eat quite a few of those, darling, I do, the Chips Ahoy. Interesting about the Chips Ahoy, when these first came out, when I was a child, they claimed that each cookie had 16 chips inside every cookie. And I was like, oh, you know how many times I've took those little cookies apart trying to count the chips, but I never could actually count them, because I would eat the cookie far before I found the 16th little chippy in there. Of course, the Mallow Moss, that's a Nabisco cookie. And the Nilla wafers, the Nilla wafers, a very interesting story. The Nilla wafer was invented on Staten Island, and this gentleman named Gustav Meyer, in the late 1800s, sold his recipe to Nabisco. By the 1940s, people living in the southern part of this country, well, they loved these Nilla wafers. They did. They would bake them inside their banana puddings. Oh, yes, they didn't actually bake them. They'd put pudding on top of it with bananas, and I want that tonight. I think I've got to find a way to have some Nilla wafers. Interesting story about the Nilla wafer, too. They were initially called vanilla wafers because, well, that's what they are, the vanilla wafers. But in 1967, Nabisco wanted to show that it was really with it and swinging, so they changed the word to Nilla. Isn't that lovely? Those people at Nabisco, they sure knew how to rock. They did, and roll. Now, our cookie show, and I see Eddie's watching today. Now, Eddie, I see that Hope is in the audience. Hello. I see that Sarah's there, and Kathy, I hope you're out there watching. I hope you're all eating cookies. I want to talk about one thing, but we can't talk about cookies without talking about Girl Scout cookies, of course. Now, Girl Scout cookies are sold to raise money to support their troops, right? Yes. And they were originally sold door to door. That's right. You couldn't just go into your Stop and Shop parking lot and grab a box of these. No, the girls had to go door to door to sell them. And they all started in Oklahoma, in Muskogee. There's Muskogee. Look at what a lovely city that looked like. Now, when they first started with the cookies, the girls had to bake the cookies themselves. That's right. Their leaders would give them the recipe. They had to go home and bake them. I don't think that would fly today, love. I certainly don't. It wasn't until 1936 that the good people at Keebler started baking the cookies to give those little girls a break. That's right. And here's some of the cookies that they make that we all love. We all love ourselves a Thin Mint, don't we? and of course the Samoa, the coconutty goodness of a Samoa. Look, there's the tag along, and here's one of my favorites. It's the thanks a lot cookie, because you get that and you say, "Oh, Mom, thanks a lot. This is a plain cookie." Now, what's really interesting is why the girls sell the cookies. There's a motto that they have, a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of academia. They say, and I'm going to read this to teach. They sell cookies to teach Girl Scouts valuable entrepreneurial skills such as planning, teamwork, financial literacy, organization, communication, and goal setting. But you know, it's all about the mother who does that, right? Oh, Mom has to sell the cookies, not the child.
Knock, Girl Scouts here!
Who is it? What's going on?
I said knock, knock, Girl Scouts here!
Oh no, Jane, what are you doing here in my glittery bunker?
I'm a Girl Scout! I'm Girl Scout selling cookies! Buy some!
I thought Girl Scouts had to be kind and we're full of honor.
I'm kind. I'm full of honor.
Well, you're full of something, that's for sure.
Want to buy my cookies?
Those are cookies?
Yes, of course they're cookies, see?
Oh, well, what kind are they?
Well, they're Thin Mints.
They are? Let me see. Well, Jane, these are about the thinnest mints I've ever seen.
Are you going to buy them?
Well, no, dearie. You see, I have a problem with Thin Mints. I do. Because every time I eat one, I want Samoa. I want Samoa.
What's the matter, Victoria Sautee? Don't you like me anymore? The audiences love me. Yes, they do. They want me to have my own show.
Well, maybe one day, Jane, but for now, you're just going to have to play second fiddle to me.
Yeah, well, maybe Mr. Dazzle will buy my cookies. Oh, Mr.
Dazzle! Maybe Mr. Dazzle will. Why don't we pay a visit to Mr. Dazzle and see what he has to tell us about? Hello, Mr. Dazzle, where are you?
Oh, hello. Hi, you caught me in the middle of my snack.
Oh my goodness, Mr. Dazzle! I see from your little moniker there that you're an Oreologist.
Well, absolutely, I'm an Oreologist. There's not many of us, but it's it's a trade that's very worthwhile, very near and dear to my heart.
Well, I'm going to give you the screen, and I'd like you to fill in, get our audiences about that sandwich cookie we all like, the Oreo.
Sure. Hi. So the Oreo is actually the top-selling cookie by the Nabisco Company, which I think you all know a little bit more about by now. It's the top-selling cookie in America, and it is a sandwich cookie, which means it's one of the cookies that has two cookie pieces with a filling in the middle. I decided that today I'm going to just rank my top 10 favorite Oreo flavors because there are over 100 of them, and I have had most of them. So, before I start my list, I should mention, Oreo has a lot of different series of cookies that they like to do. One of them that they did was the Oreo Thins, which are delicious, but I don't want a thin cookie right now. I want the full Oreo experience. So I'm not going to talk about the thin cookies. I'm not going to talk about the holiday series because all the holiday series is they put a different picture on the cookie and color the cream orange or blue or yellow, which is very cute, but it doesn't taste different, and I'm here for flavors. And the third series I won't talk about, which if it's your favorite, I'm shocked, is the Triple Double series, which I'm sure no one's heard of. But it's two Oreos put together of different flavors, like eating two cookies at once. And it's reckless and American and very fun. But again, we only want one flavor here. So my top 10 list of favorite Oreo flavors starts with number 10, the Cherry Cola Oreo. Yay! If you're not a big soda drinker, this would have been your chance to try cola and not have all those fizzy bubbles that hurt your nose or the crazy, well, there are calories, but there's probably more in soda. These tasted just like a cherry cola. That's the only way I can describe it. You open the package and you feel like you're at a soda fountain. Delicious, delicious cookie. Number 9 on my list is called the Fruit Punch Oreo. Yes, these were a summertime limited edition flavor, and they tasted exactly like Fruit Punch. Funny story, Fruit Punch is a very easy recipe that you can make at home by yourself. You don't need to go out and buy, a fruit punch that's pre-mixed. You can use orange juice and pineapple juice. That's all it is. That's all Fruit Punch is. It's those 2 juices, and then you add a little bit of cranberry or grenadine to make it pink. But that's it, orange and pineapple, and these Oreos tasted just like that. Number 8 on my list was so limited and so rare. I had to scour the internet to find these, but I did eventually do it a few years ago. These are the Swedish Fish Oreo. I don't know what they were thinking when they decided to put these together, but it turns out it was a wonderful idea. They were only available at Kroger's grocery store, which is in Maryland, Delaware, Virginia. So if you're around that area, lucky you. You got to try these probably. Me, I had to find them on Amazon for $25. And I have to say, they were really delicious. They smell so strongly when you open the package. You get this waft of that cherry, chewy, fishy smell. And it's interesting that they put it with a chocolate cookie. It's almost like the chocolate dipped Swedish Fish that you can get at the store. So really delicious if you can find them. Number 7, proving that I like to drink my Oreos, is my 3rd drink Oreo, root beer float. Because a root beer float is one of the most comforting summertime things you can possibly have. Now, if you don't have root beer on hand, a lot of people like to use Coke, and that's what I did. I was a cola float kid. But the root beer float cookie is delicious. It's not overpoweringly root beer. It's not overly sweet. It was really, really tasty, and I highly recommend it. My next one, which is number 6, I believe, is the key lime pie Oreo. If anyone knows Mr. Dazzle, they know his favorite pie in the world is key lime pie. This Oreo took the lime filling that they made from their limeade Oreos and replaced the cookie with graham cracker cookies. Graham cracker cookie with lime was amazing. Delicious, delicious. Next one on my list, as I'm losing my mind. Number 5 is the Fruity Crisp Oreo. I'm sorry, they call it Fruity Crisp, but let's be honest, it's Fruity Pebbles, and that's fine. It is an Oreo with regular cream, but inside the cream are Fruity Crisp cereal. And the Fruity Crisp cereal make this cookie sparkle. I tell you, you'd think that those things are just sugar, but no, they have a very distinct, very, very nostalgic and delicious fruit flavor. I loved them. Number 4 now going down is the white fudge dipped. I think someone is playing with my emotions. Someone also knows that Mr. Dazzle loves Taco Bell and misses it very much right now. Number 4 on my list is the white fudge Oreo. Now, the white fudge Oreo is a plain Oreo, granted. It is not a new flavor, but it is a Christmas tradition. I always have white fudge Oreos at the holidays, and I have a very, very lovely memory of walking to the store with my father, who was also named Mr. Dazzle, in a blizzard to a box of these. You only get like 15 cookies in a box, and I love them. I get them every single year. So good. Number 3, because we had to go full chocolate, is brownie batter. Now, they make a chocolate Oreo. They make a dark chocolate Oreo. They make a chocolate dipped Oreo. But the brownie batter Oreo is so good. It has that sort of gritty, battery, overly fudgy kind of quality to it. It is astounding. I wish they would bring these back. We need brownie batter. Start the petition. Sign it with me. Number 2 on my list is the banana split Oreo. Now, the banana split Oreo is the best of all worlds. This is every flavor you could ever want. We all know the banana split. It's a banana with a scoop of vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry ice cream on it. What they did with this cookie is they made a vanilla cookie and a chocolate cookie, and they put strawberry and banana cream in between them. Every single bite is a little different, but it all goes together so perfectly. I love this cookie so much. Why isn't it here? Okay. My honorable mention, before we get to my number one favorite, is the chocolate marshmallow Oreo, which, as you've already seen, I have in my hand. This is in stores right now, and it is so tasty. It has little marshmallow bits in it, and they're kind of chewy. And I love them, but it's so recent that I didn't want to put it on my list because I feel like, well, what if I find something better? So these are my honorable mention. Get them if you can, but look for the others still. Number one on my list, everybody, is the waffles and syrup Oreo. Now, this is the most American Oreo I can think of. It is a fried waffle, which is fried cake, essentially, flavored Oreo, and it's got cream on the inside, which is so buttery and good, and then a little dollop of syrup-flavored cream. It is exactly like eating a crispy waffle and syrup. I think about them every day of my life, and I miss them, and if you have them, you can send them. I'll send you my address. I'll find it. Please give me these Oreos. So you should look up a list of the Oreos on your own. Find out which ones you think you would like to try, because I'll tell you, there are, as I said, 100 flavors, and they are all over the place. They have blueberry pie and mud pie and caramel coconut and pistachio, and in Japan and China, they released a matcha flavor, which I have yet to try. Someone please send me those, along with the waffles and syrup. That said, I am going to have my afternoon snack. It's been lovely talking to you, Victoria.
Well, thank you for the tour of Oreos, Mr. Oreologist.
Thank you so much. And you enjoy the rest of your show. I'll be enjoying my Oreos.
Come back again, will you? Now, you know, Mr. Dazzle has his flavors there that he enjoys. These are the worst flavored Oreos that I'd like to tell you about. Of course, the Taco Bell Oreo, I can't imagine what that one would be like. Or the Spam Oreo, lovely Spam. How about the, there I am. I don't know, I disappeared from the stream there. Now, before we go on with the show, let's break. I have a little commercial message for you, lovies.
It's Pantochino Summer 2020, featuring Pantochino podcasts, mini musicals broadcast everywhere, Pantochino Curbside, bringing musical theater to your front door, Victoria Sautee's Let's Learn Stuff, all this and more in Pantochino Summer 2020. Find out all the details at pantochino.com.
All right, darling. Our cookie celebration continues with one of my favorite little treats. It's called the Fortune Cookie, and we're going to get crafty with fortune cookies today. We're going to learn how to make a fortune cookie that you can't eat, darling, but it's going to be fun nonetheless. So what I've done, I need a few things. We need some little strips of, let me take the cookies off there for a moment. We need some strips of paper, which you can write little fortunes on. I wrote, you'll be very famous. I wrote, you are very, very pretty. And I wrote, Jane is not a real Girl Scout. Now, you're also going to need some construction paper and a scissors and some tape. Or if you like, I got some hot glue here, I do. So what I'm going to do, I've traced a circle on my construction paper I have. And you know that the fortune cookie, we think of them when we go to a Chinese restaurant, but they're actually a product created in Japan. How about that? Yes, that's right. So we're going to make our little circle. There is a famous art form called omikoji, which is little fortunes on paper. So there, I have my little circle. Do you see? And what I'm going to do with that circle is I'm going to just bend it in half. I'm going to make like a little taco, and I'm going to put some hot glue at the top to hold it together. Just the tiniest dot of hot glue, and I'm going to hold that. Ow! It's hot. They don't call it hot glue for nothing. That's right. So you just have to hold that there, let it sit for a moment. Yeah. You know, the fortune cookie, they don't actually have them in the Asian countries, in China or Japan. But they were first brought here or created here, and served in the Japanese tea garden in the Golden Gate State Park in San Francisco. Look, I have my little thing. So now I'm going to put my fortune. Now you could be creative with your fortune. You put that in there, and then this is good for a little birthday party, or maybe you just want to brighten your mom's day and say, "I love you, Mom," and have her open a little paper cookie. Now one eats them anyway, right? I do sometimes. I do, but maybe you could give you a little birthday favor. So now once we have this shape, I'm going to press right here. You see that right here at the bottom of the cookie? I'm going to press up like that. My fortune's coming out, and then I'm going to pull the ends of the cookie in to each other. I think I am going to try. Oh, yeah, there we go. I have it. I've bent it. Look, and I've made a cookie, and I'm going to take another little dot of hot glue, and I'm going to put it right in the middle of the crease there. And, oh, it's hot! And there you have your little fortune cookie. I did one before. Just some construction. You probably don't want to use typewriting paper or computer paper. You want something a little stiffer when it gets to your paper. And there you have your own little fortune cookie. You could make a basket of these, and every day your mom or your brothers and sisters could open these up. Now, if you don't want to use hot glue, you could use some Scotch tape or any kind of tape, for that matter, to hold your cookie together. And then you get your fortune, and what a fun time that would be. They're made by machine now. They were used to made by hand, but now they have a fortune cookie machine. They do. Oh, I can't tell you how much I want to eat my cookie. So I'm going to have to run along for now, darlings. But I want you to do me a favor, will you? I want you to be good. I want you to wash your hands all the time. I want you to put on your little face covering when you go outside. And most of all, darling, I want you to be kind to each other. That's very important these days. And you know something, darling? I'm going to see you again on Thursday with a lovely show. I know you're going to really enjoy. Wait till you find out what we're learning about on Thursday. Until then, I'm Victoria Sautee, eating cookies.
If you're stuck inside and you need some fun, she's the grande dame of getting it done.
That's awesome!
With Victoria Sautee.
I'm still eating the cookie. I'm not even going to try to end the broadcast. I never can. I just never can. Wait, is that it?